It's time for ROTD Weekend. I've got to tell you, I am so exhausted. So this episode goes live on July 20th. And as you know, I am taking the month of July off. So I have pre-recorded everything that you're hearing that goes live in July. I have pre-recorded in June. So right now I am speaking to you from the past in June, and I am madly trying to get all of these episodes recorded. I've never done anything quite like this before. I've recorded 10 recipe episodes and 2 of the weekend, intro parts and outro parts today. So we got back from Atlanta, my daughter and I, yesterday from that concert, and then she has gone to her dad's, and my son is there as well. And so I have these few days home alone by myself. Marty is already headed to Europe. He's in Poland with his family. So I'm on my own, and I'm just recording like a maniac. And I'm at the end of my work day today, and I thought, oh gosh, I'm just going to leave this one for tomorrow. But it's these weekend episodes where I talk to you a little bit more, and I feel like it's maybe a little bit more appropriate for me to tell you how I'm really feeling. In those daily episodes, somebody might listen to that randomly. They've just popped over from Facebook, or, they're in the recipe card on the blog post for that, and they hear it and they're not going to know what I'm talking about if I'm rambling on about Belgium and exhaustion and time warps. But you're listening to the weekend episode. So you are one of my people, and you know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, I hope. And so I thought I'd take this moment to just be real and say, oh, I'm really tired. It is going to be so worth it, though. I've never taken this much time off before. And, I thought about maybe taking the time off from the podcast and just not having episodes go live for this month. I did entertain that idea. But, I am an avid podcast listener, and I'm assuming that if you're listening to this, you probably are too. And I love the consistency of my favorite podcasts. When they don't come on for a while, or they have a guest doing their show instead of them, I totally understand it. And I absolutely respect their need for that break, but I'm a little disappointed and I'm a little bit sad. And since most of my episodes are pretty short, this is doable. And I thought, you know what? I know how I would feel if I listened to something every day or most days and then it wasn't there for a month. And I didn't want you to feel that way. And I also want you to keep listening. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm listening to a podcast all the time and then suddenly it drops out of my feed and it's not there anymore, I forget about it. And I would hate for you to forget about me. I don't want to lose you out there. And so that's why I'm in this place right now. You know what? It is the end of the day, and I'm going to pause my recording and go and pour myself a glass of wine. I will be right back. Okay, there we are. I actually got some Prosecco, so I guess it's bubbly, and I am celebrating the end of my work day. I just gave you all those details about my exhaustion, so maybe I'll just tell you exactly where I am time-wise. So like I said, this goes live July 20th, and I need to record up to about the August 6th episode if I'm going to get back from my trip and have time to get everything edited and ready to go out. So that means I have another 18 episodes to do before I leave. And today is June 20th, and we leave on the 27th. My kids get back before that. I'm hoping to have a lot of this done before then because I want to help them with packing, get the house kind of organized. So I have 4 days left to get 18 episodes done. That is not so bad. I think today was the worst day. I really wanted to get through a huge chunk so that I'm not leaving anything behind, so that I know for sure that I'm done in time. So that's where we're at. You are on July 20th. I am on June 20th. And I am having a glass of Prosecco after recording 10 episodes of this show today. But yeah, I'm glad I'm doing it. It's a cheerful thing. I tell you guys this all the time, that when I actually sit down and record and start recording, something about talking about food, the recipes, about being recorded, it makes me smile. I'm in a good mood. I'm cheerful. I'm just tired. But yeah, I love doing it. And something's been happening lately with this show that has made me love it even more. And that is when some of you listeners agree to come on the show and sort of turn the tables on me and tell me how to make one of your favorite recipes. You listen to me do this, and then it is your turn. So we had Shy on from Vegas. We had Desmond, the lawyer who wishes he was a waiter. And now today we have the Dart Diva herself, Melissa Jensen, and she is telling us about a rather surprising surprise recipe of the day. I know it took me by surprise, that's for sure. Now, Melissa is Dart Diva on TikTok, and she's actually an OG food blogger like me. She doesn't do it anymore, but she used to be one of us out there sharing her recipes online when it was like a new thing to do. Now she's moved that over to TikTok and she shares her meal plans. Super fun. You are going to love the surprise recipe and you are going to love hearing from your fellow listener, Melissa Jensen. Let's listen. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Christine. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm really excited to talk with you. You are a listener of this podcast. And so it just feels so nice. I was talking about the 1000th episode of this podcast recently and saying how it's brought me the chance to connect with people in a deeper way than I think my blog had ever done before because I don't love social media as much as some people do. And so it's been like that. And it's people like you that I have found, and we found each other, and now we actually get to talk, which is really nice. So thank you for doing this today. And kind of related to that is I know you love TikTok and food on TikTok. So can you tell me a little bit about like what you're doing there?
Yeah, so I got started on TikTok during the pandemic, just as kind of a fun way to break up the time. And they were sort of all over the place. Like one day would be a recipe, one day would be a shopping haul, one day it's videos of my cat. So I sort of over the last year have kind of honed in on my little niche there, which is once a week I post the meals that we had the week prior. So I do a Sunday through Saturday of what we had, whether it was what we cooked at home or if we ate out somewhere. And so I kind of developed that niche of this is my food. This is what a real person eats every day. Sometimes it's fish sticks and mac and cheese, and sometimes it's a gourmet pasta dish. We never know. But I saw other people doing it. And I kind of like that realistic view of what other people are eating in their daily lives.
Yeah, I really love it. And your account really has that happening on it, but also like that doesn't mean it doesn't look delicious. It looks great, but like real. And I think that, in this world of our social media and everybody's life, like, presented on social media in this stylized way, people talk about how like on Facebook that people only post the good things, like I'm going on vacation,
right.
I think there's something about TikTok and about accounts like yours that are like, hey, I'm a normal person over here. So do you find, I know TikTok has this like infamous algorithm. Are you like, does it show you other people who are also sharing their daily meals?
Yeah, I have, and I'm not even like I follow a certain profiles, but I don't really actually follow a lot of people because I kind of like the randomness of what comes up on my For You page.
Mm-hmm.
But I have noticed since I started kind of in that direction that I do get more of those every day, and I'm getting more videos, not just of the pictures, but like there's videos where they'll show the whole video of what they're eating or how they make it. That's come up a lot more for me. And I like it because it gives me ideas of what I could do the next week for my meals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. So you actually like it's not only entertaining you think that you're getting inspiration from these.
Oh my gosh, yeah. TikTok, I know it's crazy, but people it really has changed my life. I've learned so many life hacks. I've learned so much about beauty and makeup, so much about food. I really am like a devoted TikTok person for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. You know what? Okay, I hadn't planned to do this, but like let's dig in a little bit because I suspect that there are people out there who are not on TikTok, and I mean, there's controversy; it might disappear or get bought or like whatever. But like, if somebody is thinking about it, where would so they get an account, and then would you recommend that they like follow some people or do something to start if they're just intrigued? Like, what is this? And I want to try it.
Right. Like, I mean, if you haven't been on before, it's short little videos and they're anywhere from 10 seconds to, I think they've moved it up to 3 to 10 minutes now. Like they kept moving up the time of how long they could be. I know I personally like the shorter videos, but sometimes you get what you get. But if you're interested in kind of learning more about it, what I would do is just find a couple of people that you like or topics that you like because you can search by topic also.
Hmm.
So, say you're looking for recipes to make or meal ideas for the week, just type that into your search bar and then you'll start getting all those videos. And as you curate your interest by searching for things you're interested in, cats, sports, whatever the case is, your For You page will start coming up with more interesting things along those topics for you.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. And you know what? We can shout out your TikTok account too if people want to look there, right? You're at.
Sure, I'm at Dart Diva, DartDiva, and you're gonna see a whole lot of food and then a little bit of cats and maybe some dancing.
I love that. That's fantastic. Oh, that's great. So definitely you have to follow Melissa. And also, like, one thing that I don't use TikTok that much. I'm posting on there, but I'd heard that people use TikTok like a search engine. So instead of Google, sometimes people go to TikTok, which, is just a strange thing. And I don't usually do it, but I found myself doing it recently. Somebody was telling me about those like outdoor griddles that are trendy now. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I looked it up on Google first, and then I'm getting like sales pages and like whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but what would you cook on here? And I searched for it on TikTok. I can't remember what these griddles are called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Blackstone
Yes,
ones?
yes, yes, the
Yes.
Blackstone. So I look it up on TikTok and suddenly I am learning like 5 million things that you can make
Right.
on these griddles. So like it becomes a like place to search for things that you want to know more about the way that you might have done on Google, right?
Yeah, and I do that like I happen to have rosacea and it's just developed over the last couple of years or so. And so I didn't know like what I should be doing for it. So like I just typed in rosacea and like I learned about a whole bunch of stuff and then I went to my dermatologist, always get a professional medical opinion, and said, "Hey, I've seen this, this, and this. What do you recommend that I do?" But at least I could come to her with a knowledge base of
Mhm.
what she would tell me or what I could bring to her and ask her about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. It's fascinating when you have just everyday people sharing their information. Like you said, sometimes probably good to go and find a reliable source too.
But even so, like if you want to see like how a cream works for somebody, like, they kind of a lot of people will document that. But even on the food spectrum, like birria tacos are hugely popular right
Mhm,
now.
mhm.
So like going and see the different way people make them or different spices or peppers that they use, once you search that, you're going to get a whole bunch of different ideas of how to make your own, and how to
Mhm.
make it something you would want to eat. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find that interesting too.
Yeah, no, it's true. So many great ideas. And then the TikTok algorithm sort of figures out what you like and gives you more and more of it.
Oh
So
yeah, they're always watching.
so that's the cautionary tale, right?
Yeah, right.
So, Melissa, have you brought a surprise recipe to tell me about today?
I do. So, Christine, today I'm going to tell you about it's a recipe that I've been making for probably over a decade now,
Mm.
but ironically enough, I learned on TikTok a way to make it a little bit different than what most people do. So, my recipe itself is for crispy loaded baked potato salad.
Oh, crispy loaded baked potato salad. I love that. I do a loaded baked potato salad, but it is not crispy.
The loaded one was the one that I had years. I've been doing in
Hmm.
parties, barbecues. I'm expected always to bring this thing. But
Right.
I got tired of making it because I felt like that was the only thing people were ever requesting for me. So when I saw this come up on TikTok that people were making their potatoes crispy before they mix them into the salad, I was like, maybe this will make it fun for me again. And it was awesome. So
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, okay. Very, very cool. Where do you start when making this one?
well, another reason I like this recipe too is because there's a couple different hacks you can do to
Oh,
make it easier on yourself. And I
okay.
always love a recipe where you can do it the long way, but then maybe there's shortcuts you can
Oh,
take.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I would start with the little baby potatoes. They sell the small ones now, they're petite potatoes. And I usually get a 3 pound bag of those. This is a smaller batch. You could easily double it for, a party or
Hmm.
something. And then you parboil those for 15 minutes. Once they're done and you've drained them out of your pot, then I like to toss them in not a lot of oil, probably maybe like a tablespoon because you don't want them to get too greasy because
Hmm.
that'll kind of change your taste of your potato salad. But
Hmm. Hmm.
you lay them out on a baking sheet. I line mine with foil first because I don't like to clean a lot. And then you just smash them down. Like I use a potato masher to smash them down, but you
Hmm.
could use a drinking glass or a bowl. And the hack for that is if you don't want to boil the potatoes, this could sound crazy, but you just bake a bag of tater tots, right? just your
Oh.
normal sized bag of potato tots. Halfway through, you smash them down, and then you finish baking them according to the package directions, and then you have crispy potatoes that way too.
Oh my goodness. You're going to end up making potato salad out of tater tots. Is that what's happening here?
You totally can.
And you've
And
tried
it's
this?
so good.
It's good.
It's
Okay.
yep, it's so good too.
I'm like a big doubter at the moment. I'm like, I don't believe this.
And it saves time too, because you don't have to boil them ahead of time, and you still get that crispy potato effect. And they're real potatoes, so
Yeah, okay, okay. So you're either boiling them first or you're doing the tots. They're smashed, they're crispy, and then what
yeah.
happens?
Okay, so then I usually, while those are cooking, I make the dressing, which is half a cup of mayo. You might have to adjust that, depending on how creamy you like your potato salad.
Hmm.
But I usually start with half a cup, and then I do half a bag of shredded cheddar, or you could grate your own. So half a block of shredded cheddar. I take 2 to 3 green onions and I kind of slice those up. And then for the spices, it's pretty basic. I don't like to go too far because the potatoes and the cheese and all that are
Yeah,
going to give you a lot of flavor. I do paprika, about a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of onion powder, and then salt and pepper to taste.
nice.
So I mix that all up while the potatoes are cooking. And then the other thing, and this is where you have another shortcut, I either take 6 strips of bacon and bake them at the same time I'm baking those potatoes, or get a little bag of the crumbled real already cooked bacon
Oh
and you can
yeah,
just
yeah.
mix those in.
The bacon bits, like you like sold in the like where the salad dressing sold the
Yes.
bacon bits. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That totally works.
And secret tip, if you have an Aldi near you, you can get those for like $1.95. So you also save yourself some money
I
too.
did not. Okay, we're gonna have a little segue into. I'm obsessed with Aldi, but the thing that I love going there, but I have the certain things that I get there, and then
Yeah.
as just happened, like every time that I talk to somebody else who loves Aldi, they mention something that I was not aware of, and then suddenly that gets added to my like things that I buy at Aldi list. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I'm telling you, I'm a store brand snob with certain things. Like my
Hmm.
mayo's always a certain brand, my ketchup's always a certain brand. Certain
Hmm.
things I have to buy, at a regular
Hmm.
Winn-Dixie or Publix or wherever. But Aldi has like the best prices on produce and
Oh.
dairy products. So I definitely, and like you said, I always find something interesting there.
Hmm.
And they have a lot of seasonal items too that they only put out at certain times of the year. So you can really find some. Like right now, there are barbecue sauces. They're doing those Japanese style ones, the Korean
Oh.
ones.
Yeah.
So like you can just
Those
find
are
all sorts
there.
of weird, interesting products there for not that much money.
Yeah, I know. I
So
like that. The one that somebody told me about recently that now, well, like a month ago, that now I buy there is just the like olive oil spray, the like metal container of
Mhm.
spray olive oil. It's crazy expensive at Publix and like
Okay.
$1.29 or something at Aldi. Like I'm probably exaggerating, but like just the price difference is crazy and it's just
Yeah,
olive oil in
huge.
a can. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So that's my
absolutely.
favorite Aldi thing right now. But now, so yes, now I have to add the bacon bits to my Aldi list.
$1.95. Can't beat
Wow,
it.
so good, so good. Okay, so potatoes done, dressing done, bacon cooked or package opened. What next?
And then literally once your bacon and or if you're just using the package, once your potatoes are done, I let them cool, usually at least 10 to 15 minutes because
Hmm.
you don't want it to be too hot.
Hmm.
But mixing them warm is actually kind of good because I find they soak up the flavor more.
Right.
So I mix that all together and then you just throw it in the fridge and it's ready for whenever. Like you can serve it room temperature. We've had it room temperature and it tastes just fine. Or you can, chill it like you would a normal potato salad.
So do you chop
Super
up the
easy.
potatoes first or anything, or they're just still in
Nope.
those big
Because
chunks?
if I'm using the real potatoes, they're already that baby size.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So you don't really have to do much to them. Plus, when you flatten them kind of in the oven to get them to that crispy texture,
Hmm.
they'll kind of break up a little on their own as you mix them in.
As you stir them, and probably the same with the
Yeah.
tater tots. They're smooshed and then
Yep.
crisped. So when you stir them, they're going to break into little pieces.
Littler pieces. Yep. So it's very little work and it's so delicious.
I'm I'm still like vaguely doubter. Like it's so hard for me to imagine that like oven tater tots, the crispy potatoes. I'm with you. I can't imagine, but it's like tempting enough. I think I'm gonna have to give this one a try.
You got to try it, Christine. I'm telling you, you'll be converted.
Oh, I love it, Melissa. Thank you so much for telling us about this today. Can you remind people where they can find you on TikTok or wherever you want people to find you, and they can go and look for you there?
Sure. I do have a food blog, but I have not updated it in all full disclosure. It's noroomfordessert.com. But you can find some of my older recipes, and you can find that original potato salad recipe
Oh,
on there. So if you just want to make it without the crispy potatoes, that recipe is on there. And
fantastic.
then on TikTok, I'm there posting at least once a week. So at Dart Diva.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christy, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I loved it. I know, right? Tater tots and potato salad. Who'd have thunk it? I have got to try it when I get back from this trip. If you try it before me, you've got to let me know. I want to know if you love it as much as Melissa does. Thank you so much, Melissa. It was a real treat to talk with you. Hey, and if you are on TikTok, don't forget to follow Melissa at Dart Diva. And if you are listening and you would like to be a guest on this show, there will be opportunities for that, but it's going to be a while out. I don't know if I've actually told you about this, but when I was at that blogging conference in Denver a little while ago, I met a lot of amazing food people, and I gave them the link to sign up to be a guest on this show, and a whole bunch of them signed up like right away. And so I was recording interviews like sometimes 2 or 3 a day. I actually had to close out my calendar so that nobody else signed up because I was a bit overwhelmed. But now I have interviews already recorded out until like October. So my calendar is closed for now, but once I open it back up again, I will mention it on here, and I will post a link in the Facebook group that listeners can sign up to be on the show, because I think it's really great to meet you guys and so much fun. Okay, so as you know, I am not doing any cooking for the websites right now, so I can't tell you anything about that. And I literally recorded the episode where I told you about Atlanta and the restaurants that we went to and that kind of thing. I recorded that earlier today. So I have nothing new to share about my life other than the exhaustion that I mentioned already. So I'm just going to jump to what is going up new on the websites this week. 2 wonderful recipes. I'm very excited about both of them. So the first is for air fryer red potatoes. And this is a recipe, it's one of those things that I just make as a side dish all the time. And then sometimes they'd be like phenomenal. Like everybody's like, oh my God, these are the best potatoes ever. And sometimes they're just like good. And one of the times that they were just like good, I was like, okay, I have to figure out what I'm doing. Sometimes it's so great and that I'm not doing on the times when it's not so great. And so I tested a whole bunch of things, and it really comes down to rinsing them and drying them. And I think to the garlic that you add right at the end, those are the things that I think make them perfect. So I will be posting that. It goes live this week on Cook the Story, and I will of course be telling you more about that on this show later this week. And then the other recipe is a chicken gnocchi soup. This is based on the Olive Garden soup that I really, really like. I have this like real fondness for those first few things you eat when you're at Olive Garden, the salad, the breadsticks, and the soup. And so I wanted to copy this one. I did that pasta salad recently that was based on the Olive Garden pasta salad, and that kind of got me thinking in that direction. And so this soup recipe came to exist. That is going live on the Cookful this week. And yes, I will also be telling you about it on this show later this week, or I guess it's next week because this is Saturday. Doesn't really matter because I actually know that I'm going to be recording it tomorrow morning because that is my life right now. So you will hear about all of this next week, and I will be talking about it tomorrow in one of my crazy recording days. What was I thinking? Why am I doing this? Nah, it'll be fine. Okay, some other things that I will be recording tomorrow morning for you to listen to the week of July 21st are some tips for shredded chicken tacos. Ooh, a really nice recipe for quick dill pickles, and my favorite steak marinade. That is coming up as well. Lots of tasty food coming your way every single day, 7 days a week, I promised. Okay, I will put the links to everything that I've talked about in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and head over to the episode for July 20th of 2024, and you will find everything there. I want to say a huge thank you to the Dart Diva, Melissa Jensen. Thanks for being an amazing guest and sharing such a great recipe. So fun. And thank you all for listening. I hope I get to meet you all one day. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's get cooking.